Hello and welcome to Fractal Model 21.9. This is the latest Fractal Model for the third quarter release. We're really happy that you've joined us. We're really excited about sharing the new features of the Fractal Model. There are 5 main features that we have added to the Fractal Model. The first one is another optimization engine, and this goes with our new optimizer that released in the last version. This new optimizer is not perfect. For those of you who don't want perfect clairvoyance, this is an optimizer that allows you to have a different style, a little bit more in tune with how you would actually bid a project. The second one is now we can do different duty cycles throughout project life. So let's say you want to do an ITC for the first 5 years, solar plus storage. Well, in year 6, we can change the business model and it's seamless now. The third one, we've improved our charging algorithm when you do solar plus storage. As you charge your battery up, we're just a little bit more efficient now. The fourth one, we've updated our pricing curves. As many of you know, the prices for storage have changed recently, so we've adjusted for that, and also for degradation. And then the last one, the Help tab, where you can come in and you can just click a button here and it'll bring you to the particular help section. And this is a cool feature because instead of going through that thick, awkward manual that we have, now if you have a question as you're going through different parts of the model, you click on it and it'll bring you to the particular section. So a very cool addition to the Fractal Model. So let's do this. Let me give you an overview of the Fractal Model for those of you who are a little bit newer. And along the way, I'll highlight the new features. So the dashboard is where we do our system configuration. We can tell the model whether we want solar plus storage, solar only, storage only. We could do things like wind plus solar plus storage. We can turn that off and on. We can put in any type of PPA payments. We can start to evaluate how much of a storage capacity payment. We can also restrict the POI. We put in a really restricted POI here. Then you can see how big of a difference it makes with the production. On the next screen is where we have our inputs for CapEx, OpEx. We could do things like have reserve funds for inverter replacements, for our battery augmentations. As you go lower and lower, you can see things like your salvage values. You could do your taxes, ITC, depreciation. So that's all on this page. The update on this page is that we have improved our pricing calculator. This is the calculator that gives you an estimate on what we feel like our market costs, or at least costs for winning bids going into different size projects. So this price estimator, it adjusts for the size of the project, both megawatt and megawatt hour, so power and energy. A smaller project, like a 1 megawatt 4-hour system, is going to have a different dollar per kWh than a 100 megawatt system. And then also it changes along with the year. So a 2022 versus 2024 is going to have different prices. The next screen is more of our engineering screen, and this is where you can input efficiency curves for different components. So you have your transformer curves, your inverter curves, your battery curves, and also as you have different C ratings for your batteries, different depths of discharge, you can put that in and it'll help you to adjust the size of the battery. Another update on the battery page is that we've refreshed all of the curves from the different vendors for the popular brands that are out there, and you can just do your drop down for those different chemistry types. We've refreshed those curves and now they're more up to date. Remember, on the generation tab, this is where we can input our wind profile or solar profile, and then also we can put in solar degradation if you have a specific curve for that. The applications tab is mostly the same. A big highlight is that we used to only allow for price inputs to be kind of in this 12 by 24 format. Now you can put in 1 year, even 40 years worth of hourly prices into the Fractal Model. We'll show you that here in a little bit. Dispatch tab is also mainly the same. The big improvement on this page is that when you use the solar charging down here in row 60, you now have the option to tell the model to hurry up the charge. By putting a higher number here in cell H60, this will accelerate your solar charging. If you put in 0, it will charge slowly over the course of the day. Try to time it so that you reach 100% by dusk. If you put in a higher number than 0, well, then you could charge up earlier and be at 100% while there's still daylight left. It just helps you to make sure you're going to charge up for that day. Of course, everything still flows into the cash flow, and you have your CapEx section, you have your revenue, you have your OpEx. That's still all there. That gets you to your pre-tax bottom line. And of course, for some of our clients, you import this into your financial model. But if you want to stay within the model, we can also do the after tax. Just keep in mind it's a very efficient tax model, so you don't have a lot of the intricate fees and other things that you might have in your model. Sensitivity tab, still very useful. Here we can turn things off and on. We have some costs that perhaps are going to change over the course of the lifetime. Well, we could do that. If we have revenue streams that might change, maybe we have a different curve for resource adequacy. And you can see in cell E2, as we toggle this off and on, that our rate of return changes. Also, as you are calculating your off-taker's capacity payment, remember we are tracking both your returns and the off-taker returns. This isn't very good right now. We want the off-taker to be cash flow positive. You can track that as you change up the duty cycle. And then remember, we have the reporting feature. You can customize this report however you like. Just make sure to go back to the dashboard and click the report button, and it will create that report for you. Now, to get into the last two updates, we need to go into the high mode. The model is configuring itself to do the high mode. This is the high mode, remember, uses the Microsoft Excel add-in. This allows us to run a 20, 30, 40-year project in a reasonable amount of time. It's using our special script to do that. And we will also open up our add-in module. So now we have our add-in module. When we hit run the fractal model, all right, and after a few moments, the model has run. And keep in mind, this is a 40-year project because the solar is 40 years, although the storage is 20. If we go to our cash flow, we get our year-by-year cash flows. Keep in mind in this case, because our battery is degrading, our revenues, they're being prorated as a result. Now, one of the newer features is that we can just run a individual year, and when we run that year, it allows us to change up the duty cycle. If we go to year 6, and then we go to the dispatch tab, and we're going to change up the business model so that it's more in tune with the real-time prices, right? So if we do this, and then now if we run this individual year, all right, so we ran that individual year, and if we go to our cash flow, notice now in year 6, we have different revenue profile for real-time energy. We could do this for the remainder of the years. It allows us to just change it up year by year. The next thing to do is to go into the optimizer, and the optimizer is when you have a price forecast. Fractal will show you ways of how to dispatch your battery to maximize your rate of return while adhering to boundary conditions like 365 cycles, other things that are similar. So let's go into the optimizer, and we will change the calculation mode, and we'll go to optimizer. All right, after a few moments, it takes us to the optimization page. As mentioned, today we do need you to paste in prices for the different services. This allows us to then run the cost side and do the optimization between the cost, the revenue streams, and any boundary conditions. Some of those boundary conditions you can see down here that we say, hey, 1 cycle a day. You could just as well say, well, all right, well, I want to do 0.5 cycles January and February, and I want to lend a cycle to maybe July. So you could do cool things like that. You can also turn real-time arbitrage on and off, and then you can choose between your two different optimizers. First one is perfect, meaning that it takes a look at prices, it knows what the prices are ahead of time, and it picks the best services while staying within any boundary conditions. The other one, the look back, this is more of a Bayesian approach. What you do is you take a look at what happened 1 day before, 2 days before, 5 days before. That gives you a dispatch that you will bid for tomorrow. This is a little bit more real world. Aside from adding things like different weather patterns and different load profiles, probably a little bit more realistic as you're going day to day. You can choose whether you want to run a perfect dispatch if you're running like a 20-year model, or if you want to run more of a Bayesian look back. So the last thing with the Fractal model, and this is a bit of a teaser, we are integrating the Fractal model with Fractal EMS. And what this means is that on a daily basis, you'll be able to come in and you can optimize for your day ahead schedule, and you will be able to send portions of this either to your QSC and or to your battery, and it'll all be automated. So if you want to send an offer curve to your QSC, we'll automatically create that Excel file. And then along with that, we can send a calendar invite to the battery. And so the battery, if we go to this, your battery will automatically receive an invite for certain hours to do certain services. Now, if you're doing something with an ISO, what we could do here is like have SOC targets, have volt var curves, just things that are more local. If you're doing something a little bit more behind the meter, well, we can schedule a charge, we can schedule a discharge, so that you don't have to sit there and manually input things. All right, that is Fractal Model 21.9. We're really excited about it. Hopefully you are too. Let us know if you have any questions. We are also happy to do demos. All right, y'all have a great day.